Hey there, patrons. Let's talk about my Bladerunner blaster. This is the one that I designed, so it's got a little bit of a different styling to it than the original one. But I'm super happy with how this turned out. Now, I started this like back in January. I know I posted on Patreon a little bit early on when I had all the parts printed. But now that we've moved into the new shop and I have everything set up, I could finally finish it. And I really spent my time putting this together. I was super meticulous making the molds so that these parts could come out. That was probably the most time-consuming part, making the molds good enough so that I could cold cast all of the metal parts. And I'm very happy with how that turned out. Now these are the parts that didn't work out. A lot of the parts got built a couple of times, or in this case, this is the fourth iteration of the receiver, and then the final one, this guy right here, I believe was number 5. So, yeah, there's a lot of prototyping in this, but that's probably my favorite part. I really enjoyed printing pieces, assembling them, figuring out what wasn't quite right, updating the 3D model, and then printing it again. That really makes me feel like Tony Stark. Some of these pieces failed, so this printed all the way up overnight, and then right at the end it fell over and it failed. But this was my test piece for lasering the text on there, and it worked out great first try. So I did it on the final piece, which would be whoop, right here. Then I sanded it after lasering it, because if I obliterated this with the laser, I would just print it again. I was really adamant about being able to build this without using paint or glue. So everything can come back apart if you unscrew it all. There is no paint on this. The black is just black cast plastic, and then all the metal parts are all cold cast with aluminum powder, and then the orange is of course just tinted resin. I will probably end up weathering this at some point, but for now I'm really enjoying it being all nice and clean. And I have been enjoying this. This follows me. I bring it home, and when I'm watching YouTube videos in the evening, I play with it and bother my cats. But this has been a bit of an obsession, especially over the last month or so, my real push to get this thing done. I also cast a couple more of these kits and brought them to Tested the last time I was down there, last week. Norm and I assembled a couple of these, so there will be a Tested premium video on that. And I also gave a kit of this to Adam Savage. Now, I don't expect him to put it together in a timely fashion, or ever really, but he seemed pretty stoked about it. In fact, when I had just the prototype, just all the 3D printed pieces, I brought this down to Tested a few months ago to play with, and Adam was pretty stoked about it. So I got the Savage seal of approval. So this is the first 3D model that I've put together where I'll be releasing the files. They're free for patrons. There'll be a link down in the description of this video to just download them yourself. But I'm selling them on my website for everyone else. And part of the reason why I did that was I don't want to cast any more of these. I have the molds, but there's 33 parts. It's a real pain to cast them. And I don't want to do any more. And the price it would be to sell that kit would be a lot, and I don't think a lot of people would go for it. So I figured you could spend $10 on the 3D files, print it yourself, finish it yourself. It's on you. I'm actually going to film a whole instructional video on how to put the whole thing together. So yeah, that'll be coming out soon. Hopefully some of you guys want to give it a shot yourself. I will say this is a challenge. This isn't an easy, this won't be an easy kit to put together. Lots of sanding and finishing. You're gonna have to get a lot of hardware. You're gonna have to get some tools. I've got these taps here for tapping all of the holes on this so that you can just thread everything together. And then the mechanical parts, the trigger and the release for the this guy here, are a little finicky. It's not just a matter of like putting it together and it works. You're gonna have to tinker a little bit. The springs I got, these little doodads here, are kind of weak. This is just what I can find at the local hobby store. So I've been stacking them up. There's 2 of them stacked up here. The trigger in here actually has three springs And that's so that it has enough oomph to return and overcome the catch on the hammer. I do still wish I had even stronger springs in that, so maybe at some point I'll replace those, but right now it's looking pretty good. Yeah, that's about all I have for this project. It's going to go on the shelf with my other Bladerunner guns. This will be the 4th full build that I've done, or kit, or whatever. And I think I'm done. I think I'm pretty good on Bladerunner guns. I have my RAC props kit. It's over in the other room. I was thinking about doing some upgrades to that. There's parts of that kit that I'm not really happy with that I wanted to fix. I want to repaint parts of it, but I think I'm actually done. I think I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to let that piece stand as a part of history. It's the kit that got me into doing Bladerunner guns. So I'm just going to leave it and let it be what it is indefinitely. And then if I do another one again, I can compare to that one. Someday I would love to do a full real build. The challenge there is the parts, specifically the rifle, the Steyr rifle that this part was made off of. Very difficult to get your hands on, and if you can, very expensive. The last one I saw for sale was going for something like $5,000. And not only that, but you're competing against people who collect firearms and people who collect props. So the price goes way up, and the firearms people get pretty upset if you cut it apart and make it part of a toy. So I'd love to do one of those one day. It probably won't happen. We'll see though. Who knows? Maybe one of them will fall into my lap. That'd be awesome. All right, cool. That's about it for this extra video here. As always, if you have questions, please let me know. Be happy to help you out. And I hope that some of you guys grab these files, print it out, and give it a try. It's a challenge, and I hope that you're up for it. I know you're up for it. You can totally do it. All right. Thank you guys so much for the support. You're awesome. Because of you guys, I get to do wacky projects like this and make silly videos like this. And if you keep helping out, I can keep making them. All right. Take care. I'm about to head to Dragon Con. So, yeah, maybe I'll see some of you there. Party on.